Diana and Jules Marmont had once been a team. Rising stars in the Bureau, both talented in their own way. Diana innovated and Jules got funding from the bureaucrats. Cooperation led to respect. Connection. Then after a decade of hard work, the happy couple were promoted. Co-heads of research. Their first years at the lake house were good. Challenging, but not insurmountable. Not for them. Gradually, thoughts fell into their heads like drops of dark water. Why does she get all the credit? Why does he get any credit? With that, a crack formed in the lake house. The Marmonts and their work became arrogant, erratic. The crack widened and the water seeped in. Rudolph Lane stood back from the canvas. He didn't recognize the piece. Did he paint this? His mind was foggy, unfocused. He knew the Marmonts were putting something in his food. A man in a white coat came to steer Lane back to his cell. He did not resist. He was too tired. He lay on the bed, but the stench in his cell wouldn't let him sleep. An acid stink. The turpentine. The paint. It was all over him. Years of it. 1,000 paintings. 1,000 more to come. A putrid weight he could never wash away. Cold hate simmered below the mist clogging his thoughts. Hatred for the paint. Hatred for the brushes. For the Marmonts. For himself. Diana and Jules Marmont had once been a team. Rising stars in the Bureau, both talented in their own way. Diana innovated and Jules got funding from the bureaucrats.
Interesting.
September 12, 2023. Notes regarding a page of an Alan Wake manuscript I found in the archives. I checked the records, and this page is not in our inventory. I believe it manifested inside the lake house directly. I won't be filing this page. It'll just send Jules into a panic. The page is written in Wake's usual style, so I can't say for certain if it's being literal or figurative when it calls us monsters. But what's interesting is that the page indicates that a painting succeeded in linking Cauldron Lake's threshold with our facility. Writing has always been the clearly superior avenue of research, but I never considered that the writing itself would dictate a different art form as the catalyst for our success. I cannot accept that. I can't allow Jules to stumble his way into success. Not after the years of work I put into this research. I got word yesterday that 2 writers are visiting Bright Falls. I will beat Jules to the finish line.
Moving forward, research at the lake house will be divided into 2 distinct projects. Arbitus, focused on studying the writing of Redacted with Diana Marmont, serving as project director. Codename Ramnus will be studying Blank and his work. Jules' staff will soon be notified regarding their project assignment and any required desk changes. Your patience is requested during this reorganization. This is a confidential facility matter and is not to be discussed with external agents or teams. If you have any questions, please contact me directed. Harry Kings. The automated typing device ATD will produce writing mimicking that of Alan Wake. Known para-utilitarian. The goal of affecting reality in the same consistency as Mr. Wake's writing. To reach this level of authenticity, each page produced by the ATDs must be evaluated and graded based on similarity to Wake's original style. The pages will be graded using the following criteria. Comprehensibility. This is the most basic of criteria. The page must use language to develop stories in an understandable, organic way. Style. The page must accurately mimic the typical style of Wake's writings, using pages in the Lake House's possession as reference. Tone. The page must accurately mimic the typical tone of Wake's writing, using pages in the Lake House's possession as reference. Content. The page must accurately mimic the typical content of Wake's writing, blah, 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 blah. Once pages are graded, they will be fed into the algorithm as preferred reference material, thus continuously refining the writing produced by the ATDs until they can produce near identical stories to Alan Wake. Once that is achieved, we will provide instructions to the ATD on what to write, effectively gaining control of Wake's ability to link with the Shadow's power. Alright.
There was a crack in the lake house. The marmots had let the lake in, but the water could not flow. It became trapped, stagnant, went bad. The truth was controlled here. The art was not art, just content for the experiment. There was a crack in the lake house. The marmots had let the lake in, but the water could not flow. It became trapped, stagnant, went bad. The truth was controlled here. The art was not art, just content for the experiment.
Typewriters. Please don't let this be what I think it is. As you know by now, typewriters and Cauldron Lake do not mix. And a room full of them all clacking away? 100% bad news.
March 7th, 2018. Notes regarding Dr. Emil Hartman, founder of the Cauldron Lake Lodge, where he manipulated artists in an attempt to control the power of the Shadow. I've gone through his notes, which were confiscated by the Bureau after his arrest in 2010. Overall, Hartman's work was sloppy. Complete disregard for proper scientific method. But he was bold enough to try something we haven't. Our procedural writing machines are promising, but we could understand the effects of Cauldron Lake's threshold much better by observing live artists in action. Thanks to Hartman, we even have a list of prospects. Next step is to send Dr. Darling a request to bring some into the lake house for analysis.
We have begun to find pages from a manuscript very likely written by Alan Wake, para-utilitarian and suspect in past cases involving the Cauldron Lake AWE. Though I do not like to bring myself or my biases into my work, I must do so here to address the matter being examined. As references for any future readers, I am Diana Marmon, co-head of research at the Lake House facility. The page we recently found summarizes my life with Jules Marmot, husband and co-researcher. It has turned us into characters for its story, making generalizations and assumptions that I must attempt to reevaluate without emotion and prejudice. The accuracy of the writing is intriguing. reports our past in the Bureau, but also details inner thoughts that an outside recorder would have no way of knowing. Jules and I have indeed been having more and more interpersonal conflict this past year. This raises many questions. How does Wake, wherever he is writing this from, get his information? Or was the page itself determining these motions and events? I cannot believe that the scope of Wake's ability goes so far as to have dictated my entire career at the FBC, and if it did, would it matter? Even if a person knew their life was being driven by an external force, would it change their nature, their behavior, their personality? My disagreements with Jules are not sudden shifts in personality, but rather a growing resentment. I firmly believe that though I have no evidence to prove it, which brings me to a new research core routine. What methodology can one use to prove that their actions, their mind, their love, or their animosity are theirs to control? I thought they shut off and I was like, uh-oh. Cannot be had. Investigation into the precise brand and model typewriter used by Alan Wake with the intent to use this particular brand for redacted in the ATBs continues to be unsuccessful. Sources contacted with discretion. Wake's publishing house, no useful information. Wake's agent refused to discuss client matters. Wake's spouse refused to discuss. Redacted, no useful information. Checked all available online interviews, publications, elements pertaining to Alan Wake, no resourceful information. The relevant team will continue to explore alternative sources for information. The ATVs will continue to be operated as the available typewriters until Wake's preferred brand is known. Theoretically, replicating Alan Wake's style of writing via the same brand of typewriter used by the author should yield optimal results. The project director has indicated that a similar investigation should be launched into the brand and type of ink used in Wake's typewriter. Jesus, people. Should have come to 3 first. I probably should have come to 2 first. Wait, where's the elevator at?
Wish the elevator would stop moving.
Oh. Bandage.
There was a crack in the lake house.
Ammo box. Empty ammo box. Paint.
Shit. I can never say no to extra firepower.
Shotgun.
Back where I started. Spatial recurrence. Usually observes the law of 3.
This contrived overlap rebounded on itself, compressing, compounding, reflecting, and refracting. An urban legend and a murder in constant imbalance. Cause and effect hopelessly tangled. Arranged wrong, the dream logic flawed, the feedback loop doubled and redoubled, out of control. The pressure kept building, looking for release. This contrived overlap rebounded on itself, compressing, compounding, reflecting,
Shotgun
and
ammo.
refracting. An urban legend imbalance. Cause and effect hopelessly tangled. Arranged wrong. This contrived overlap.
The shadow is here. Good thing I brought a flashlight. Some staff down there had been corrupted. Shit just kept getting worse.
You're shot. Pick your pistol. Useless. Straight up useless. I need to continually check them. Make sure I'm not missing loot boxes. This is I think I think I'm a little bit more ammo. The other DS60. Paint. Paint figures.
Loop 3. Should be the last one.
I keep coming back to this page. The author's clearly awake. It's like he's warning us. But about what? I mean, what does it mean? He's writing. A coward can't stand risk. But science is risk. For me, this is proof that we are going in the right direction. I just need Rudolph Lane's paintings to lead to more pages so that hopefully one day we can understand. I keep coming back to this page. The author's clearly awake. It's like he's...
Shotgun ammo.
What is that? Controllable shifting phenomena. Won't open without power.
I just happened to go into the right door first. I see. Ions. Okay. Oh, hello.
You again. Alan Wake's writing is being studied here. Do you know anything about him?
Names don't matter. 1,000 more to come.
They say clear communication is the key to any relationship. You and I have some work to do there. What happened to you? Did the people here do this to you?
Marmots plugging his head.
You said marmots before. Do they do this? Where are they now?
Misery, hate.
Tell me where they are.
The man in the white coat.
Christ. It's fixated on the marmots.
It's artist that
What did they do?
she kept harassing into making paintings. Obviously. Come on, that just sells itself.
A threshold is the connection between a foreign reality and our own. Now, they all have their own rules, strange as they are, but the further down I went, the more chaotic this one got. Clearly, this was the Cauldron Lake threshold, but something was wrong. Well, more wrong than usual.
Apparently I started off with